Call of Duty Modern Warfare is finally out, and just like every year, reactions are all over the place. Half of you probably love it, half of you probably hate it, and for what it's worth, I actually think it's rather bloody good. While the gunplay obviously has been overhauled, Infinity Ward's approach to map design is perhaps the most radical change going from Black Ops 4 to this new game. Before launch, the team discussed at length how they were moving away from the traditional 3-lane design in favour of something more dynamic, and it's resulted in some of the most interesting maps in years. The studios clearly attempted to live up to the Modern Warfare heritage, but there's still a wide gulf between the best maps the game has to offer and the ones that you quit out of as soon as you see them pop up. And just for the sake of clarity, this list only includes the core 10 multiplayer maps, as it wouldn't be fair to put them against the smaller 2v2 gunfight ones or the massive expanses of ground war. Now that's out the way though, I'm Josh from WhatCulture.com, and this is Call of Duty Modern Warfare ranking every multiplayer map worst to best. Number 10, Piccadilly. It's not that I'm angry, Piccadilly, I'm just disappointed. Get in the bath, you stink. Visually, this is one of the most striking maps in the multiplayer, with the gloomy London streets making for an aesthetically inspired backdrop to wage war against. Sadly, that visual appeal isn't backed up by the design itself though. Theoretically speaking, Piccadilly could have a good flow. The circular movements surrounding the funneled vehicles in the middle makes it immediately different to maneuver around compared to the other levels, but sadly, most of that space is wasted. At launch, spawns didn't switch when the enemy advances into the north part of the map, which created a chokehold that dominated the play and essentially reduced the map to just one street. Now, I have kinda grown to appreciate this level the more I play. I love it every time it comes up in Cyber Attack or Headquarters, but it's just so hit and miss. Number 9, Ania Palace. Ania Palace is a map that could only work with Modern Warfare's new set of mechanics. A larger play space with big outside areas and the centralized palace acting as its own CQC minimap, it's tailored to all playstyles, and fortunately, players make use of all of it rather than reducing it to a single hallway a la Piccadilly. However, the size does get the best of it. The longer range gameplay helps shake things up, but it can occasionally result in matches being much slower, especially if you don't have a full server, with the timer ticking down more often than the winning score is actually hit. Camping can be an issue as well, which slows the pace even more and makes for needlessly sweaty, edgy matches. Still, that is just a small gripe, and for the most part, Ania Palace can be a blast as long as it doesn't crop up too often. Number 8, Euphrates Bridge. Under the right conditions, Euphrates Bridge can be one of the best maps in Modern Warfare. The unique structure with the elevated bridge in the middle surrounded by 2 open spaces gives the multiplayer suite some much needed verticality. Likewise, storming said bridge with the team and taking it from the enemy can be thrilling, making for King of the Hill style play in an era where multiplayer games no longer really include King of the Hill modes. However, more often than not, this level devolves into a total slog. If you're on the losing team with a bunch of brain-dead idiots, it's easy to get pinned down and spawn-trapped by fire coming from high and low. At that point, there's not much you can do other than sit at the back with a sniper, looking out for the little glints coming from the houses and try to get as many kills as possible before the timer runs out. Number 7, Romaso. Visually, Romaso is another quite striking map, but it sadly doesn't do enough to leave a real lasting impression. It doesn't have any particularly frustrating hiccups like the other 3, but it doesn't really do anything particularly new either. There's a lot of verticality to the environment with elevated walkways, which again is welcome, but it can occasionally frustrate the flow of engagement. It's not uncommon to be chasing people around the area, spotting them from up high, only to lose them down in the streets, giving matches a sort of stop and start feel in the regular modes. Also, it's no fun getting shot from absolutely every angle, which happens all the time if you're actually capturing flags. It does fare better in objective-based matches though, and is serviceable and solid, but it's not one that will go down as a classic COD map. Number 6, St. Petrograd. A great urban city level, St. Petrograd is amazing for close quarters battles. Whack out the P90 or a shotgun, just not the 725. If you do, I promise you I will find you and then you'll never be seen again. And you can go to town, moving from building to building, strategically clearing them out as you work down the street. In that way, it kind of functions like the apartments from COD 4's Block, a series of tight rooms with no margin for error. This is complemented with strong street-level design as well. The long sightlines near the trams offer longer range loadouts room to breathe, while the flat pathways on the left offer quick routes to get around, but ones which can be dangerous to those mindlessly rushing. It's a great mix of vertical building gunfights and street-level longer engagements that excels on headquarters, and it's just a shame that there visually isn't much going on here. Number 5. Grasmere Ed. Grasmere Ed is one of the maps that benefits the most from Modern Warfare's less rigid approach to level design. A city level far denser than most of the other maps, it's big but not in a way that pushes players towards certain choke points or makes certain areas completely redundant. Whether you're fighting through the houses and the gardens on the left or heading straight into the fray into the mesh of interconnecting streets in the middle, battles are immediate and punishing. Better yet, there's a whole bunch of buildings that you can explore and use to your own advantage, meaning that few rounds ever play out the same way. This makes it great for TDM and domination, but Grasmere Ed also shines in modes like Cyber Attack. No part of the map feels wasted, there's a mix of playstyles accommodated for, and it fits pretty much every mode like a glove. That's literally not a glove, it's my skin, but, you know, for the sake of the argument. Number 4, Hackney Yard. It's a testament to how well designed Hackney Yard is that it's ended up so far up on this list because it's potentially the ugliest map of the bunch. Essentially, it's just a big grey industrial yard full of warehouses and pop-up office buildings. It ain't exactly easy on the eyes, but you know what? Neither is a big roast with gravy all over it, and what it lacks in a visual flair, it more than makes up for in facilitating intense firefights. Also like a big roast with gravy all over it. That comparison doesn't really work. I don't know what I was thinking. What I'm trying to say is that look, it's good, it's really nice, it's tasty. Anyways, it comes close to that 3-lane style that defined the earlier releases, but increases the verticality of engagements massively, and promotes getting the height advantage on enemies. Even better, this added layer encourages taking risks as well, as you jump from roof to rain down fire on enemies from above. The big empty building on the right is also great for objective modes, as it's always fun to fight to try and own it. There's enough space to mount a good defense, but not too much that it becomes a camper's heaven. Number 3, Azia Cave. If you wanted to show someone just how different this version of Call of Duty is to the ones which came before, all you'd have to do is put them on Azia Cave and leave them to their own devices. The level is split into 2 distinct parts, inside the cave and out, each connected by a bunch of tunnels and walkways that you have to constantly be aware of. Even better, this means camping is minimized, as there's so many points of entry. As a result, it doesn't feel like 2 maps, but one labyrinth that rewards the smartest players. The interplay between light and dark that COD's engine propels to the forefront in Modern Warfare is also a force to be reckoned with here, as you have to accommodate for the darkness of the cave, which can be a dream for players equipping Dead Silence with the harsh brightness of the outside. This is, of course, lost on the night version of the map, but the night vision required alternative is uniquely atmospheric in a way that more than makes up for it. The map could have devolved into 2 straight walkways that connected, but there's a real variety to the terrain and environment, and learning the most efficient ways to get around rewards smarter play and faster gameplay. Number 2, Gunrunner. Now, I know there's going to be a bunch of people out there who absolutely disagree with Gunrunner being so high on this list. At the moment, it's one of the most divisive maps included in the base game, being one of the smaller, more compact environments that can admittedly lead to a couple of frustrating moments. I swear to God, if I get shotgunned or claymored from that vent one more time, I'm going to lose my However, it is only really bad if you're playing it like an older Call of Duty map. Sprinting around is always guaranteed to get you killed, as there'll always be someone in one of the buildings with an SMG or shotgun. Likewise, bolting down either side of the perimeter makes you easy pickings for long rangers hanging at the back. Especially in a mode like Headquarters, being hunkered down though in a claustrophobic position can work wonders. Having to defend one of these buildings brings with it a sense of intensity COD has lacked for a while now, as securing doors and trying to cover every possible angle promotes strong teamwork. There's also a unique flow to the map as well, as instead of climbing to higher ground, parts of the environment allow you to slip underground and downstairs, which is a small change that does serve to give Gunrunner its distinct identity. Number 1, Arklov Peak. It might sound weird considering it's a different series, but Arklov Peak feels like a classic Black Ops map. The aesthetic echoes some of the best environments in that game, as rushing from the hilly exteriors to rundown houses gives it a realistic flow that some of the flatter Modern Warfare maps lack. This is the kind of level that Call of Duty does so well, a simple series of mini combat areas knitted together into one explosive tapestry. There's no bad egg in there, and no real viable camping spot that can be abused. The B flag can be annoying to defend if your team fails to back you up, but it's never too frustrating, and worth it when you do get contested battles for domination over the entire area. Fighting around that central tank with support from the buildings on either side provides the kind of hectic action Call of Duty maps are born to revel in. So that's our list. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Are you enjoying Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and do you agree with this ranking of the maps? And what do you think of the new modes like Gunfight or Ground War? Either way, while you're down there, could you give us a like, share, subscribe, and head over to WhatCulture.com for more lists and news like this every single day. Even if you don't though, I've been Josh, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.